Okay, have y'all seen this picture of Louis Armstrong playing for his wife Lucille in front of the Sphinx? Like, it's romantic, dramatic, iconic. We love it. But the gag is that this picture was actually taken during Louis Armstrong's CIA sponsored tour in the African continent. I feel like this New York Times article is actually so revealing. United States has secret sonic weapon jazz. And what are they talking about? They're referring to the Jazz Ambassadors program, which was started by the US State Department and the CIA in 1956. Basically, the US government knew how influential and how much social capital and creative capital Black American musicians had, especially jazz musicians in the time. So they would have these incredible jazz musicians, such as Louis Armstrong, among many others, literally go on tour abroad on behalf of the US to essentially like help the US's reputation. You know, you can imagine the era. It's like height of the Cold War. It's the early 60s. Everyone is realizing that the US is just this like imperialist monster. And obviously there's like a million ways in which that's crazy. And I think Louis Armstrong was like used as a pawn along with all these other artists. But one trip that stands out is his trip to the Congo. He was there playing in November of 1960. So he arrives there just a couple months after the Congo had achieved its independence from its colonial ruler, Belgium. And who is hosting Louis Armstrong in the Congo? Larry Devlin, the CIA station chief in the Congo on behalf of the US. These are from declassified CIA documents, but I'll read it really quickly. From 1960 to 1968, the CIA conducted a series of fast-paced, multifaceted covert action operations in the newly independent Republic of the Congo to stabilize the government and minimize communist influence in a strategically vital, resource-rich location in Central Africa. And then it goes on to talk about how they spent the equivalent of $80 million today and how it was the largest program in the CIA's history up to then. And just 2 months after all this, Patrice Lumumba, the newly elected anti-imperialist leader of the Congo, is assassinated by colonial forces, the US, the UN, and Belgium. And who was key to that assassination? Yep, Louis Armstrong's host, Larry Devlin. Like, Larry Devlin literally admits this in his own personal memoir. So learning more about the US's imperialist machinations and the way in which they co-opt artists and use artists for their own interests really makes us all think, how are we falling into the same traps today?